So guys, welcome back to a brand new video. So in this video, it's the second project on our list. I mean, the Avanti isn't raced away yet because I'm currently waiting for supplies on that one. So I thought I'll just go ahead and start on the MB-59. I'm trying to keep this in one video. Worst case scenario, it will be two. So guys, what we have to do, first big thing that happened since the Maiden is about, I think, I have no idea, was after Jet Power, so I think it's like a good 4 months. It was a good 4 months ago, and just a few little things. So I, in the cello, dropped it once, and there it banged on here and on the light. The light is broken, and a former broke for the rudder. And this thing is a bit too wobbly for me, and I never went full crazy because of that with this plane. I did end up going a bit crazy, not a lot, but going fairly fast and all of that stuff, and doing quite tight maneuvers because it managed. And yeah, but the way I enjoy flying this one is anyways like the way we flew the weekend flying. Second thing, CG wasn't right, so we moved the batteries all the way forward. And we used to have a battery pack, but I changed that out because in the winter flying now, I could only fly it once because our solar system, everything on the field is out, and I only had the one battery pack. So I changed it. Our batteries for the switch are on the side now. You can see here, and there are thousands. So these are just in here. This battery didn't change at all. And we have gotten 2 separate battery packs just sitting beside there. So this is the final CG location where I have my packs. They're right on they go around until here where the ESC is, and that's nice. So first thing we'll be doing is I want to get this fixed all. So first thing I have to do anyways is take out the thrust pipe. And something I did is I permanently mounted the elevators, because they just were like a bit unnecessary to take on and off. I mean, we'll do something to the main reason is because the spar kind of broke, the carbon spar, and we'll look at it and I'll show you later. Same thing for the wings. We have gotten a bit of an issue with our carbon spar because I stripped out the holes accidentally. That's fully my issue because I drilled 2 separate holes and the one was very far at the end and they kind of stripped out with time. Second thing is we had this duct tape right around here, which was terrible. I added that to make it like kind of, I don't know, look better. And to fix that little crack we created while building this thing. But that thing is terrible. So we can get this thing a bit tighter. So the EDF has max thrust power. So then we have even more power. That we'll do by adding a bit of a cone on the back. Not very much, but like a bit. I think will be reduced by 1 millimeter or 1.5 millimeters. But it will give us about half a kilo more thrust. And then we'll have the full thrust potential of this EDF, which I'm extremely happy about. So first thing to do is get that thing out again, all of the thrust pipe and that. So let's get that done now. So guys, got the EDF out. I definitely forgot what a chore. There you can see the part that's missing, which makes the rudder wobble around. I mean, you can see this. So this whole airframe is moving. So that rib up top there is broken up there, and there's a piece missing of the rib back there. So yeah, that has to get all fixed up. So I'm trying to hold this so you can see this wobbling. But if you look there, I think you can see this, it's all wobbling around. So I think what I'll do is just chop a popsicle stick, glue that in with 90 minutes epoxy across there. That's going to be it for that. This thing will have to get all of this duct tape removed and get a little bit of a lip on there. I just dropped all of my screwdrivers. And yeah, we definitely have to take apart the EDF and get that cleaned out, because that thing has been eating grass like I don't know what, but it definitely has a bunch of grass on it. Also the pipe on the inside. So yeah, if you're operating off of grass with EDF planes, you usually want to clean out your EDF once a year. So I'll mostly, because it loses thrust if there's grass like that in there. And I'll probably be doing this like in the winter, every winter, getting the EDF cleaned out. And yeah, that's just something you will want to do with an EDF plane operating off the grass. And here you can see a bit more of our chips. And another thing we'll do is, I once had a bit of a belly landing on a low flyby. Yeah, I went too low and I landed and it ripped off my doors. And yeah, we have to get those repaired. I took out the servos to save some weight, and something I want to do is I'll get those spring operated, so it's just a lot lighter. And yeah, that's going to be it for the fuselage. First thing I'll move on doing is getting that light out. We'll probably just get a clamp and rip that thing out, and we'll have to access the wire through the servo hatch right there and check if all of that mounting, because remember we just CA'd them in place, but we made it strong with a bit of 90mm epoxy. We'll see if my mounts held up, and I'm sure they did. I never had issues with the rudder, and yeah, so let's get that opened up too. Yeah, that went off, no problem. This is very hot. I'm very impressed that the paint around didn't bubble up, because I did this with 90mm epoxy. I have no idea why I did that, because I was like a paint remove. I took the hot gun and like put it on top of the light. Since the LED it popped right off, so this is broken, and the wires were removed of it anyways. And this is here's why we run our leads all the way there. The other lead is right over here, and I mean, I didn't put any shrink tubing over it, but I did put a drop of CA on it, and I did not recognize that. And these connectors are extremely easy to pull off of these wires, and I pulled them right off. So I'll have to manage to somehow get a new crimp on here, on this little surface. That will be a pain, a separate one. But yeah, I forgot that there was a drop of CA there, and I tried pulling and pulling, because I know the power box connectors, you really don't need any shrink tube or anything like that, because they're like real tight. Like they have clips inside of them, and it's almost impossible anyways to get them off. And then a drop of CA on it, which I didn't account for, of course, and it'll just like fully strip the wire straight away, and I had like the servo almost flying away. So I've gotten this little crack up here too. I just noticed that. I think that was already, but we're just going to jam that with 5-minute epoxy, because the 5-minute epoxy just have to heat a bit. This will come. This is still way too hot to touch, and it will come out right away. So I'll show you the new light. So I've gotten these wires. These are the mini ones. Here they were in my MiG-21 from Black Horse. So these, I have one more white flasher. I have to go check my old videos when I installed this, if it was a red or a white. But looking from the thing, I think it was a red flasher. So let me just go check with that. So guys, light is all set again. It's working. I've gotten it installed with shoe group, so it's easier to switch out in the future if it ever breaks again or anything like that. Obviously, it was completely my fault that it broke. This is not in the program currently. I just plugged in the battery, and yeah, so that works separately with the receiver. You have to watch the full video series. If you're new to the channel, watch the series. It's an interesting series. So yeah, next thing I'll be doing, and obviously I got connectors in there, and I didn't put any shrink tube on there because I couldn't, but I went ahead and put some shoe group over them instead of CA, because the CA is a bit too permanent. Next thing to do is I'll figure out how to get that thing supported again up there. So yeah, I think I'll mainly use CA to get the backbone and the carbon one there reinforced, but up front here I can put something in there to get that reinforced and all good again. So let's get that done now. So guys, this thing is drying currently. So in the front, the rib there is just glued in with some CA, and then we've gotten a popsicle stick glued in between there. It's tackled with CA and some epoxy. The front one is just with thick CA that has to cure, because I can't get there with my I tried spraying cure, what is it called now? I always forget when I have to film, and I just can't reach it, and it stays wet, so I just have to let that cure. Here we cut out the bottom of a party cup, then we went ahead, folded it in half, and we cut it accordingly to the curve, and now that's here. So this makes it smaller, around 2 millimeters. Makes it smaller. It's just a bit. So the way this will work, obviously the back former is perfectly attached to the back things, to the thrust pipe itself. So we have to push in the thrust pipe first, then do up everything, and then this cone gets pushed over at the very end, and we'll put probably a bit of CA around the former and the cone, and this thing will give the EDF its full push, and that's about 6 kilos. Before that I was only getting about 5 kilos, and with those small intakes I was probably only getting around maybe even only 3.5. So I'm thinking I can maybe get about half a kilo more thrust out of this, so we'll go faster and have a bit more speed. So next thing I'll be doing, since all of this is curing the paint, I sprayed it in the inside because I hate the look of looking back in there and it's white. So this has to cure all, and we'll get the fan, the blade disassembled of the EDF and get this thing cleaned out. So let's get that done now. So guys, blades off with one big heavy nut and bolt, and yeah, so this thing is dirty, like real dirty. So I'll definitely have to get my scrubbing toothbrush and everything out here and get to scrubbing. So let's do that. Okay guys, after about 10 minutes of scrubbing with the toothbrush, we're all nice and clean again, and the carbon is beautifully exposed again. So yeah, it stinks like nature pure in my room currently, and it's not a very pleasant smell in my opinion. So yeah, let's get our prop, should I say, or our blades reinstalled. So yeah, get that screw Loctited on there. So yeah, all that will be good, and then we could, this I'm pretty sure is cured already, so we could. No, that definitely is not cured yet. Yeah, well, I mean, there's one way of testing that. But anyways, yeah, I guess we could, as soon as that's done, move on to doing the gear doors. So I'll show you what we're doing there. So guys, the paint was dry and the CA was dry, and I just got some activator for the CA, so I just thought I'd power it up, rather still working. And we've gotten this all on. This is glue on shoe glue. We ended up respraying it with some gunmetal because I didn't think it would stand out this much. This actually looks quite good because on the real thing there's also like a little piece standing out, but not that much, but it's still little. And if I go like a bit of throttle, this thing is pushing a lot of air through there now. So this is definitely gonna get me quite a bit of speed out of it, but I'm very happy. So very happy the way this turned out. So yeah, I have to get the new shrink tubing installed on here, and this is all done up, back screwed in place. I don't care which color duct tape is, you won't see it anyways. Get this screwed back in, and we'll go ahead and start working on the doors. Let's do that now. So guys, we've gotten the elevators installed, so they just have a drop of say in here, and then they are on. So they have no side-to-side plane. They're not permanently fixed because I can go ahead and yank them off. Then I put some thin CA in the hole before I screwed the screw in, just so that's all on, because I doubt I'll only be taking these off as soon as I have to replace any servos. So, and that's like that, so I can fly it as rough as I want to. Next thing we did is I got the hinges that were meant for the Corsair on the MB339. They look a bit more scale, and we'll have to cut this out of the fuselage, this little bit right there, and then these will get glued in from the inside, and they'll be free operating. And we'll put a piece of piano wire probably attached here. It will probably be attached to a piece of wood that will be springing open the doors, and then as soon as the line gear retracts, the line gear will take that piano wire with it, and all of everything together will retract without a servo. So let's get to getting these doors installed first. So guys, gear doors are all installed, and they work beautifully on the E-hinges, and yeah, close beautifully everything. It looks a lot more scaled. We'll paint those white eventually, but I'm happy with all of this. And yeah, next thing to do is to get this hinged, so let's get that done now. So guys, the doors are finally done. They work good. So what I ended up doing is I experimented around with the way it closed, and I took different materials, and I used a zip tie broken off one just as an experiment. And it really, with the zip tie, I have a big beefy one, and it really works well. So I C8 a piece of wood into the side here, onto the side, and it's like fully soaked with CA, thin CA. Into that we put a screw. You can see I had to experiment around quite a few times because the screw goes a bit through the door until I got the final version. But yeah, the only issue I have, if it closes like this, the door closes perfectly, as you can see, but the gear actually rotates a bit into the fuselage because of the servo hitting the light right there. So this flap always is a bit more open, and I tried. That's why I did so many holes. It always worked perfectly, but the one door was always slightly more open, and they start getting a bit crooked. And yeah, so I did my best, and it works well. So yeah, as you can see, because it goes in crooked like this, this door will always be open a bit, and it will be more open in the front than in the back, but it works well. Everything works, everything opens perfectly, so I'm happy with that. That always works, and yeah, it looks even better with the light, and yeah, I'm happy with it. So from the front, looks good. And next thing to do is I'll get this sand down a bit, I'll get this touched up, and then do some weathering on the bottom so you can't see the mistakes anymore. So let's get that done now. So guys, finally done, all weathered up, looking like always. I used some Tamiya panel line wash for that. So let's get this thing turned on. Let's get the lighting working. And let's go lighting on half, this is how I fly usually. And then the nav lights are on constantly. And then we'll just retract the gear for a sec. Okay. So guys, everything's back to working. Still have to do something on the wing, but gotten the top touched up with some white, looking good again. I have to find a lens for that top light. Right now we're in flying mode, so without the gear landing light on, gear out. That comes out beautifully. The gear battery is low, so that's blinking. Everything nicely weathered. So before takeoff, I'll have to go ahead and always spread these gear doors, and then we'll go ahead and get this thing retracted. And honestly, from the bottom here, everything looking good, nicely weathered, and yeah, looks good. And yeah, I had the second battery for the power backup, because the one battery is fairly empty already and the gear wasn't going up, but looking good. Let's get that light on. Great, looks good. Get the gear, no, I have to, and light off. Perfect, wrong thumb. Yeah, very happy the way that turned out. So we'll get the wings out on the table. The fuselage is done, back to flying condition, and we'll show you what to do on the wings. So let's get that done now. So guys, on the wings we mainly have to do cosmetic stuff. So we have to get a bit of this sanded out, that the wheel can go in, because they bent back in the very first landing where this was tail heavy. Then we have to get this. This is I'm not trying to get this out anymore, because this is bombarded. I ripped it out accidentally because it fully smashed. I went like this and fully smashed against the aileron. So that happened. And yeah, I'll just get it sanded down most likely, and then we'll go ahead and put a piece of vinyl over there. We have to I think I'll try to get this bent back in place, just to make it look a bit better. But yeah, so anyways, we have to get some new doors done up because they're both broken. This servo hatch is still perfectly fine. These worked out very well and they look beautiful. And we have to get a new piece of vinyl installed here because I forgot to put it down with the heat iron, and this piece of vinyl flew away. But I'm not going to do that today anymore because I'm pretty tired and will go to sleep. What we'll do now is I'll have to fill this with some epoxy, this tube, because it's pretty much through already, and just get that filled with some epoxy and then get it re-drilled tomorrow. So this one's good. It's just gotten a bit too far in, and yeah. Anyways, it is what it is, and we'll just have to get that re-drilled. So that's what we're gonna do. I think I might just fill both of the holes with some epoxy and get that stuff re-drilled tomorrow. So let's get that done now. So guys, all these things are prepped to do whatever they have to do done. First thing I'll do is put a piece of vinyl, a new one over here. So we'll just probably be like a square going in the edges and up to here. So yeah, a piece of white vinyl. And this, I fixed it. I mean, it looks terrible from here, but the cover here doesn't hold the servo anymore. There's a big piece of balsa that were CA to the bottom of the fuselage, and they have holders for the servo. The servo's in there with a piece of a little drop of 5-minute epoxy. You can get that out with some heating iron, and they're just CA the old cover over it. That's all strong. I could fully push against that. Nothing will happen since there's balsa underneath. And yeah, I cleaned it up with my Dremel. First thing I'll do is get all the vinyl down with a heating iron. I saved this flap because I have to trace a new one out. And yeah, as soon as everything's done with a heating iron, I can go ahead and apply the vinyl here. And we'll get the wings on the fuselage and get working on our flaps, on our new covers here. So let's get that done now. So guys, both wings looking brand new. So this one you'll obviously see a few bubbles underneath. That's just spots of CA. This one's perfect though. And here I just got a little bit of a gap. I use the heating iron too much, but I don't mind that also much. I really don't. So yeah, next thing to do is I'll get my carbon spar on the belt sander. Get that sanded all flat again so we can install it in the fuselage. Then we'll get the fuselage up here or down here and go ahead and get the wings stuck together and everything. Get the landing gear out. Get this cleaned off on both sides, the top there. And then we can go ahead and create some new gear doors. So let's get that done now. So guys, gear's working beautifully, aileron's working good. We've gotten everything working good. Our flaps. So this thing's finally ready to get flown as crazy as possible. Well, almost. We just have to do some essentials, some small ones. So here's all working perfectly. So nice. So next thing to do is I left this gear plate off. I cleaned up all of the rest CA residue. And what we're gonna go at, I just make sure right now that the gear, sorry guys, I dropped you, that the gear works properly and doesn't get stuck anymore. And now we can go ahead and get some new gear doors done up for the back. So let's get that done now. So guys, this is what one of those flaps would look like. So this is, I think, 1mm balsa. Cut to size, so the holes are in there for these little knob outs. Obviously the vinyl will be covering that and you won't see it, but yeah, the grain is cut so that you can put a bit of a curve on it, because it doesn't fully otherwise submerge with the fuselage. But yeah, looking good. So let's get the other one done, cut out, and get some vinyl on here. Let's do that. So guys, everything's done, everything's working like it's supposed to. So yeah, the gear is done. Works good. Before I take off, I mean, you could leave it like this, but there's a little risk. There's like a 10% chance that the gear will get stuck. So I'll just, before every flight, do that to the gear doors in the front, and then everything works out beautifully. Very happy. So yeah, let's get the screw holes re-drilled for the wing. Last thing to do today. Let's get that done now. So guys, got those drilled out with a bit smaller drill bit than the screw. So this is a normal Allen key bolt, no self-tapping. Then force the screw in. Now the wood has a thread in it. I'm gonna get the screw out, take the wing off, take the stab off, and put some some very thin CA inside, let it soak in for a couple of minutes, and then put some kicker, screw back in, and then you have a perfect what is it called? Then you basically you're locking the wood in place so it won't change, and then you have a perfect thread created in the wood. So let's get that done. So guys, back in action, everything working. We're ready to go full crazy with this thing finally, and very happy. Everything's working fine, and this is normal flying mode, and we're coming up to the landing switch and then landing lights. Beautiful. So I think the gear comes up if I don't spread out apart those doors. I think it does. Let me see. So it does, but it's just a bit safer. I don't want it to get stuck and break the motor over time, so I'll just do that before a flight. But yeah, looking good. Real happy about that. And I'll probably just do this on the ground because it looks a bit more scale. I mean, on the scale thing, these would be closed on landing approach. So yeah, but I'm fine. I'm very happy this thing's finally done. So guys, that was I think it was a long video because I did all of this on part. If you're wondering why I didn't go into a big amount of details, because I went into a huge amount of detail in the 2 build videos I did on this thing. So if you want more detail on this plane, go check those out. And yeah. So guys, we've gotten a whiteboard, sorry. Now, and that is one plane here wiped off of the whiteboard. So that's 1 out of 12 planes done. So yeah, the Avanti S I have to get done next, and while I'll do that, I'll be working on my slick just like I did now. So if I'm waiting on parts to arrive for the Avanti S like I did now, I just got this done in 2 afternoons. So I started yesterday and finished today. So I have no idea when this video will come out, maybe after the Avanti series. But yeah, guess the slick will get put down here now. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you a lot for the amazing support in the past few months, and subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.